Before there was time, before there was anything, there was nothing. And before there was nothing, there were monsters.
Welcome to the Season 1 monster tier list for Dungeon Meshi. Now, I wanted to talk about the monsters, namely because I thought they were all kind of cool and had their own little place in the world and in the dungeon. But it was kind of, I don't know. I feel like there was, like, I saw some tier lists out there that were just, for the entire series, which is fair because apparently it's finished. I'm waiting for Season 2 and possibly the end of the series with that season before really moving on. So I'm just going to focus on Season 1 of the anime and just kind of go from there, really. I like these monsters and I just don't want to get too spoiled. So I created my own, the Dungeon Meshi Season 1 monster tier list maker. It's by me, hello, and I'll put a link in here so that you guys can actually go to it if you want. I don't blame you if you don't use it, but I'm just throwing it out there. I think I might have missed a few monsters, so if I did, sorry, I guess. I don't know what to say about that, but these are all the ones that I went through the wiki, made sure that I got all of the ones that have appeared through Season 1, and then just put them in here. So yeah, we're just gonna start off really chill, really simple. This is all me. This is just how I feel about them. So if you don't like it, that's fine. I'm not gonna kill you yet. This was the Barlomits or something. Is that right? Where's my phone? I need to double check that. Yeah, Barlomits. Whoopsies. These are the ones that they saw in like the what was it? It was right after Izutsumi joined, and it was like right in that big open field with all the wolves and shit. And it was interesting because I didn't know what to make of it. I thought it was kind of cool. It was weird. It was weird in a way that felt very surreal, and I really like that feeling. Like that's why I love things like the back rooms or like very trippy visuals. So I can really dig this. Not outside of that, not very interesting, but I'm gonna put that in A. I think that's kind of cool. Next is a Bassilisk, which showed up really early in the series, actually, because they were chasing those two characters around, and then Laios and his party had to show up. Pretty scary. It gave us Laios doing the like caca thing, I liked that a lot. Outside of that, I think I like the Cockatrice more as like a threat and visually. So I guess I'm just gonna I'm gonna put it for B for Basilisk, but like, I guess. And I like that basically you could see the evolution of it with the Cockatrice. It's not really like an evolution, but like the Cockatrice is basically the Basilisk, but better to me. So, oopsies. Next up is the bats, or the big bats, that Marcel basically just fucked around with until it blew up in her face. Not too impressive. I think they look cool, but they're just kind of like generic. So I'm gonna put them in C. They're just kind of there. I mean, they're like good setting pieces, I guess. Like, oh no, a bat is big now. Like, yeah, that's a monster. Like that's like, hey, that's like level 1 shit. Okay, so let's like take it down a notch, okay? Like there's more interesting things out there. Next up is the Bladefish. The Bladefish was during the fight with the Serpent and Kraken, I believe. Yeah, I think so. And they just kept shooting out and like doing shit. Design-wise, they're very cool. They actually kind of remind me of a Digimon in a way, which is weird to say, but whatever. I don't know what Digimon, but it just reminds me of like a Digimon-esque design. Where do I put you? I'm thinking B, just because, and I think I'm going to put it above Basilisk. Just because I think it's a cooler design. I like it more, but it's not quite like A for me. It's just like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Next up is the Changeling Shrooms, the little fairy ring shrooms. These I really liked. Namely because it wasn't just the circle of like the mushrooms that were there. It was also involving the spores of that mushroom and anybody who got affected by it. And if they made a circle, they could transform things that went through the circle too. That was cool. I would actually, you know what? I would actually put this in S because I think it's such a weird thing. And I don't know if this would even count as a monster, but to me, it kind of does. So I really like it. So I'm going to put it in S because I think the power of it is cool. I think how it interacts with the world is cool. And I really do enjoy the fact that it turned a gargoyle into a fountain, I believe. That was pretty funny. I liked that. Next one up is the Cleaners, actually. Now, this one is kind of similar to me because I really like the fact that there is a ecosystem like janitor. Kind of like just like a regular insect would be. Just a form of the dungeon to clean itself, to restore order to itself, and to be able to like shape itself into what was missing or what was needed. That is so cool. But I don't know. I feel like that has to be S. But do I like it better than... I think I actually do. I think I actually do like it better than the fairy ring changeling. Okay, so the next up is Cockatrice, which straight out of the bag, so fucking cool. I don't know if you've ever seen the like manga panel for the Cockatrice. It is terrifying. That thing is so cool and deadly looking. Like, I would be like, oh yeah, this is a monster and I'm gonna die. This goes an A. Straight up A. Perfect. Deadly. And I think Marcel even... I can't remember. Did Marcel do the Lio scream at it? Because if she did, that's even funnier. Okay, so Direwolf is next. Direwolf is odd because it's basically a big wolf, right? I'm pretty sure Direwolf just means it's like a more like sizable wolf. Stronger, but it is just pretty much sizable. So above Bat because I think it's cooler to have big wolves, but it's still kind of like a generic thing for me where it's just like, it's just a wolf. Granted, I don't know if Direwolf is different in different fantasy mediums, like entirely, because if I remember right, like in Game of Thrones, the Stark family has a bunch of direwolves, and it is basically just giant wolves, right? So it's like, it's cool, but it's like, is it cooler than like a fantasy creature that is inhabiting this dungeon? Not entirely, but there are probably things that are cooler than it here. Next up are the Dryads. Now, the Dryads are kind of tricky for me. I'm not 100% like remembering them entirely, but I did like their appearance and I liked the Dryad pumpkin. I'm going to be safe here and I'm going to say I'm going to put it in middle of B. But it's very tentative. I could move that if I really felt like they didn't belong there, but so far they're doing okay. They're fine. They're fine. The next one is the Eyes of the Magician, the little blood dragon bird things that Thistle creates when he's like spying and sending scouts and shit. I remember them being kind of scary looking when he summoned them, and then Marcel was just like bam, 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 right? So it's like, yeah, they're cool. They're very cool, but I guess, you know what? I'm not going to harp on them too much because they are cool. I liked them and they're useful. And they're just made out of blood, I'm assuming. I'm going to put them... Would I be more scared of this than the Cockatrice? I'm going to put it in middle of A. I think middle of A is fine. The Cockatrice scares me more. The Cockatrice is much scarier. The next one is a lot more personal, but one that I actually kind of think works in a way. So here's the thing. This might be a little controversial, but this is just me. I'm going to put Fallen Chimera at the top of A. It is not S to me because I don't really see the point of her outside of just being kind of like a body horror kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, what other purpose does she have than to be the replacement for the red dragon to Thistle for the dungeon, really? She's kind of just there. And I mean, like, it is cool, but the horror of the body, like the body changing and fusing with an animal and becoming this chimera, it's cool, but it doesn't really make me think like, oh, you belong here, you know? It just feels like an abomination. And so, like, for S, I'm kind of feeling like these things, like, oh yeah, you make sense being here. And you're also very cool. And granted, the two things that I have up there right now are kind of like small, but like overall, they work, right? Fallen works for Thistle mainly. Everything else is just kind of secondary. So it's like, you look awesome, but also, you know? Next up are the familiars. I love these little dudes. They were so cute. I loved these guys. I'm going to put them at the high of B, like the high end of B, namely because I really enjoyed them. I like how they're created. I like how they act, and I liked how attached I got to them, especially during Marcel and Laios's little, like, looking for Senshi during the Griffin Hippogriff era, you know? I really thought they were adorable, so I'm gonna keep them there. But, like, yeah, they were awesome. Next up are the Gargoyles. The Gargoyles were kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. The Gargoyles, they're a little generic, but they were done really well. That made me think like, oh yeah, these guys are like a serious kind of threat. And you don't really think about like, oh shit, we're fighting like stone, like, you know? I kind of liked them a lot. So I might actually put them above Dryad and the Bassilisk because I think they were more of a threat. They were cool. They served a purpose. But they're not my favorite. Like, it's generic enough that it's like, oh man, a living statue is coming to attack us. Oh no. But like, I like him, you know? They were fun. Ooh boy, the ghosts. Narratively, the ghosts were good. I liked how they fit into the story and the overall history of the Golden Country. But outside of making a really delicious looking like ice cream sorbet kind of treat, as an enemy, I kind of don't like them that much. It's really hard for me because like this feels, I don't know, like if I put him in the middle, I can live with that. But if I put them here, it makes me feel like I should just automatically put them in D. I'm gonna put them in the middle because I don't think they're bad, but they kind of just serve narrative purpose rather than doing anything else, really. And really, the narrative is just kind of like, oh, these are past residents that lived here, you know? So it's kind of like, I'm fine. Like, if we don't see many ghosts, I'm fine, you know? All right, next up, we have the giant toads. These guys were kind of creepy. I kind of hated them. I kind of hated them a lot, actually. Yeah, overall, I would actually say the frogs are just kind of there. They're grabby with their tongues, they're big, but really outside of that, you know, it's... I would hate to face a frog. Like, legitimately, I would hate to face a giant frog with a giant tongue that could just, like, grab me and then eat me, you know? I think I'm going to put them above Bladefish. Because I think they are deadly enough. They are cool enough. But I don't think they really served a purpose other than that. Other than, like, you skinned them and you created the skin suits so that you could get through the last bit to get to the red dragon. Yeah, I think that's fair. Next up is the giant parasite that came from the Kraken. Or the giant squid. Laios ate it. thinking I'm not gonna get sick, and then he got super fucking sick. I'm gonna put this in D because I hate it. I hate it so much. And also, Laios is a dumbass. And also, I just don't like parasites in general as a like concept, and like that really kind of like freaked me out. So I'm just gonna put it straight up into D. Fuck that. I'm done. All right. Next up is the Golem, which is the one that we saw Senshi have like a bunch of. These guys are cute. I actually really liked them a lot. And you could create them. You could help maintain them. Granted, they were still kind of hostile, but they did serve a purpose. And they just look so fucking cool. You know what? This is my list. I could put it wherever I want. S. I think golems like this are so fucking cool. He deserves S. I don't give a shit. Eat my ass. It's so good. It's so good. All right, next up is the Griffin, which is technically not a real griffin when we like first see it, right? It was a hippogriff, but since we kind of have like a visual of what a griffin looks like, I'm just gonna rank it anyway. Kind of in the same vein as these. I would say the Griffin to me is actually kind of above Cockatrice because it was deadly. It was scary. Like we saw like a fake Griffin, you know? So like we knew it was dangerous and Senshi was terrified. But like even though we knew later it was a hippogriff, the terror is still there. Like that's awful. This is the Hag, which was the demon thing that summoned from Izutsumi's like mark around her neck right after like Marcel dispelled it, and then like Senshi was trying to teach like some manners or some shit to Izutsumi. So this is what they fought. It was pretty scary, not gonna lie. Like especially something that just kind of something that is hard to like really fight against because they had trouble like damaging it, right? Either way, it looks terrifying. It was hard to fight up until I can't remember what they did to actually beat it. Now that I think about it, I have to go rewatch. So I'm actually gonna put this. I'm gonna put this right below Gargoyle. I think that's fair because it's just scary enough. It's just unique enough, and I think it was an interesting threat, but not one that we need to see more of now. Next up are the Harpies that showed up with Fallen during their fight when she first showed up and like killed a bunch of Shuro's party. Outside of having their titties out so brazenly, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say these are kind of. I don't really like them that much. I don't like them. I'm just gonna put them down there in low C, namely because they were just so forgettable, and just the fact that like they had the titties out, human face while they're just like cackling. Not a huge fan. Not a huge fan of it. Next up is the Hippogriff, which was the true identity of the Griffin that Senshi was so scared of for so many years. I would actually put that just below the Griffin because while I think they're basically the same thing, it is still terrifying. It's just I didn't get as scared by the visage of the Hippogriff compared to the Griffin. So it's just like, it's just a little less. I still think it's more terrifying to me than running into a Cockatrice, but they're all roughly within the same level of like, oh shit, I'm fucking dead. Now this, the Ice Golem, the bit of Golem that got washed away by when Senshi was like talking about it, the core that like flushed away. This was the same Golem, I'm pretty sure. Actual formation of this Golem is so cool. One of the tropes that I love in almost every RPG is having different elemental versions of an enemy. Like in Final Fantasy X, there are the Flans that can have like different colors and different abilities because they're based off of different elements. Like red is fire, blue is water, ice. yellow is lightning, and yada yada yada. So like this to me is like a very cool variation that I really like, and I love the design way more than the original. So S tier, baby. Next is the Kelpie. The Kelpie is actually kind of near and dear to my heart because I think this was around the time that we first see like a little bit of like character flaw in Senshi, and I've kind of known about Kelpies as a urban legend. Well, not really an urban legend, but like a mythical figure for a long time, and I always thought they were very scary and kind of weird. So I'm actually going to put this kind of high, right under the Cockatrice, because I think they are such a mythical figure. I can like imagine so much potential with them, and in the show it was so good that I just loved it. So it's going high. Next up is Kensuke. We love Kensuke in here. Outside of just kind of giving like why I oughta little like hand motions like he's about to beat somebody up. Kensuke is just kind of cute. So like I'm kind of like I'm gonna put him high because I think he's kind of cute. He's just a cute little guy living in a sword, you know? So like whatever. Next up is the giant squid or giant kraken. I like the idea of a giant kraken fight, but it all kind of just comes down the same for me. It is just kind of like, oh, we take out the tentacles, then we go for the head, and then you like, you know, like I've seen the fight many times now, so to me it's just like I can move past this. So I might give it high C, low B. I feel like high C is more comfortable a position because like other than that, it's like it's fine. It's fine. But like it's not really like something that I would really actively try to watch again. Okay. All right. So this next one is absolutely one of my favorites in the entire show, in the entire series. The living armor. The show and how Laios fought this thing and how it like had these like fucking dramatic poses of it's like turning the head back on and like looking directly at the camera with like the slow-mo. It was so fucking cool, dude. It was so fucking cool. This thing is S tier. This thing is so fucking cool. How it's created, what is living inside of it, and how it moved around. It was so cool. Love it. Perfect design. Love it. It's S tier. I don't want to hear anything else. Next up is the living paintings. I'm also going to include this with the ones that like bring you back to a certain time that Laios went through. These things are so cool, and it's such an easy trope to do, especially like after playing Oblivion and having that one quest where you go into the painting. I really liked that quest, so I'm kind of a little biased. They don't really do much else besides that, so I'm gonna put that in high B because my personal bias is like they're awesome. It's such a fun concept, and lore reason they gave us a lot like with the living paintings, so I'm just gonna give that high B. Next up is living vines or like tentacles or whatever shit. I actually think this is the living vines from like the man-eating plants at the beginning of the series. Cool in theory, but definitely not that interesting to watch. I might give that a high D. Yeah, I'm gonna give that a high D because like, you know, like Next up is the mandrakes. For a lot of people, I would assume like their first introduction to something like this would have been Harry Potter. That's kind of like the vibe that I got from it. Either way, I think it was really well done in this series, especially like how they I really enjoyed how they showed how people can get like disoriented and kind of stupid because of how loud the scream is. So as fun as this is, and wait, I remember it like you had to have it like a dog pull it, and that's how Marcel knew about it, and she felt bad for the dog. I'm gonna put this above the gargoyle. I think it's cute. Actually, I might put it above you know what? I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna put it there because I think they're cute. I think it's a fun little not trap, but it's like a natural like mechanism for them to defend themselves, and people just keep doing shit, and it's just funny. I like them. They're cute. All right, next we have the mermaids. I might just bundle these two together, the mermaids and the merman, namely because they're from the same floor. One is just like, one is kind of siren-esque, while the other is just more like battle ready. The mermaids had an interesting song. I kind of liked how they were portrayed, so I might put them in low B above Dryad. No, I think I'm going to put them above Bassilisk at least. Mermaid above Bassilisk seems right. They at least had like a unique thing about them. The mermen, though, not really. Yeah, not really. They were just kind of like, here's a fish-themed warrior that's attacking you from the water. Not really that interesting to me, so I might put that above... I'm going to put that above Harpy, because like I just don't really feel anything for mermen. Harpies I kind of just don't like, and I don't like mermen better than ghosts, so mermen kind of go in the middle there. Next up is the Mimic. The Mimic in this series is actually really cool because they're just like crabs and shit, like hermit crabs that just walk into somewhere and then just eat like treasure insects and just kind of like trick people and try to kill them, you know? Just the amount of like trauma that Chilchuck has over mimics is pretty funny. I would say they're pretty high up there for me in terms of like creativity, that I like seeing them. I'm gonna put them right below but right above our Barlomits, because I think they're cool. They serve a pretty good purpose in the dungeon to trick adventurers. So yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a good depiction of what a mimic should be. All right, next up is the Minotaur. The picture I chose for this, by the way, is so weird to me because it looks like it looks like somebody just wanted to draw like a big sexy cowman furry, and this is exactly what you got. It's so funny. I love it. They're cool. They're fine. Like, we didn't really see one in action too much. Design wise, I think they're cool. I might put that above Dryad just because I like the design so much, but like other than that, it's fine. Yeah, it's just big sexy cowman, you know, like it's fine. It's a good design. All right, next up is the Nightmare. Because I'm pretty sure the nightmares are just clams, right? But this is like the amalgamation that was inside of the dream that Marcel and Laios were having. Great concept. Probably could be explored more. I would put it in between Kelpie and Eyes because I think it's iconic enough that I would like to see it again in some way. But outside of that, it's just kind of like nebulous, like whatever form it has in there is whatever it is. So like I really can only like imagine it as either the clams or like whatever monster you created in your head. So I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna leave it middle-ish A. It's fine, it's good, it's cool. We move on. The Red Dragon. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put the Red Dragon in between Kensuke and Golem. Now, the Golems I'm putting ahead because I think they're cooler. The Red Dragon was obviously like a huge threat, was very well designed, was threatening as hell, and just like decimated Laios' party and almost did it again. Overall, I think he's really cool. The Red Dragon, I think, is kind of the perfect like fantasy antagonist to have if you're gonna have like a kind of typical D&D RPG kind of like adventure. Like any dragon works, but I feel like a red dragon works the best. So I'm going to say Red Dragon is way up there because of that. I think he's awesome. And now we ruin that by going back down to Giant Scorpion, which gets killed almost immediately by Laios by pretending to like stick his sword in, and then he's like, aha, I got you. And then he's like stabs it in the brain. And that's it. That's episode 1. This dude belongs at the bottom. I'm sorry, you're done. Get out of here. Get out of here. You're done. Okay, so this is Sea Serpent. Sea Serpent was really cool because I like the idea of giant monsters under the water that like start to attack. But unlike the Kraken, this one kind of gave me like pause to like think like, is this a dragon or something? Because this was scary. This was kind of new. I might actually put this at the top of A next to Fallen because I liked its design. I liked how tough the battle was, especially later on. But it did get like one shot by Shuro, so I might. I'm gonna put it here because it scared me. I get very scared at the concept of like big monsters underneath the ocean that you can't really like see. I think they're very cool designs. Like one of the things that used to freak me out a lot was the Netflix series of unfortunate events. They had the great unknown beast right outside the submarine, just like howling while they're like hiding in the dark, trying to like not get seen by it. That scared me. And then obviously like the eldritch horror of shit like Cthulhu and whatnot. So yeah, I'm gonna put that high up because I think it's very cool looking and thematically really cool, but it did get basically one shot by so whatever. Okay, next up is the shapeshifter. When everybody got a bunch of clones of each other. This was a fun episode. I liked it, but I liked the idea of the clones more than the actual shapeshifter. So I might put this high up there. Like maybe I'm not gonna put that above familiars. Are you kidding me? But it's a fun idea that worked out really well for the episode. So I'm gonna leave it there, but like, yeah, it was just fun, but that was about it. Like as soon as they actually saw it, it wasn't about the shapeshifter itself that made me interested. It was like how Lyos was reacting to everything, and like how he was judging the clones, and then how he attempted to scare or fight off the shapeshifter by barking at it like a dog, and then Marcel just blew it up with a fireball. Like it's it's funny, it's nice. I'm gonna leave it there. Next up, this picture doesn't look great, but it's the slime. I'm gonna put this at the top of D. Now that might be a little surprising, but really it's just because like it's a slime. Everybody knows what a slime is, yada yada yada. The designs are always fun. I like slimes as a design because they're cute, but they're also dangerous. But like outside of that, it's just like I'm not really impressed with the slime. It's the best in D tier, but other than that, it's just like whatever, I'm fine. I don't care. Next up are the tentacles that showed up while hanging around Namare's party that like took up, I can't remember if it was Kaka or Kiki, but one of them. And then they had to like go in there and fight them, and Lyos went up there with like Senshi's helmet and just started wailing. Kind of the same thing as the man-eating plant, but at least this one kind of had like an interesting like thing to it, I guess. But D tier, not that memorable. Next up are the treasure insects. Now these are cool. These are like a really cool monster idea, and it worked out really well too, especially since the mimic eats, or no, I think it's the other way around. I think the treasure insects eat the mimics. I think that's right. I can't remember which one is right. But they served a very interesting purpose, and they like they surprised people. Like they wiped out Kabru's party, wasn't it? Like, yeah, man. I kind of think that they go above Kelpie for me, because I think they're that cool. They're so tiny and insignificant that you would think that, oh, it's a piece of jewelry, and then you just get fucking clocked out like that. That's awesome. Ooh. Okay. The Undyne. Now these things are scary. These things are very scary, but they're awesome. They are so destructive. They are so full of spiritual power and magical power. And they're just this tiny like ball of water. And I don't know if they even have to be just water or if they could be other elements too. But like this is so cool. And I already made a Final Fantasy X reference before, but this specifically speaks so much to me because there was a fight in Final Fantasy X that was just basically an Undyne, a ball of water, you know. And when I was younger, I could not get past that fucking boss for the life of me. I don't know why. I was a dumbass kid, but it took me forever to get past that fucking boss. So I have a real personal attachment to this. So right above you, Kensuke. Sorry, bud, but that thing fucking rocks as an enemy. Okay. Next up is it cuts off here, but it's a unicorn. So a unicorn, I like unicorns because they're such classic fantasy, but a lot of the unicorns that we've seen were just kind of like there as like a steed and nothing else. So kind of want to put it in C. I think I'm going to put it above Merman because I have more favorable views of a unicorn than a merman. So I'm going to put that there. But like narratively, it didn't really do much outside of that. So like, sorry, unicorn. Next up is the walking mushroom. I love these guys. I really love these guys. Just design wise, they are so cute. They serve no purpose other than being cute. S tier. S tier. 100%, man. S tier. There's no way the walking mushroom does not get S tier just for being so iconic. I love that thing. It's so cute. I don't think it's cuter than Kensuke, but it's still pretty cute. All right, and finally we have the wargs, which are the like hounds. I'm pretty sure they were with the orcs, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken on that. Don't hold that to me, but just kind of like big scary dog again. So like, I mean, you know, like I might actually put that there, just because like in the same realm of bat, where it's just like dog but bigger or meaner. Like, I guess, you know, like whatever. But yeah, there we go. We have our Dungeon Meshi Season 1 tier list. I actually feel pretty good about this overall, because I feel like a lot of the stuff that I have up in S tier are like things that I felt like really had an impact on me, that I found really cool and just kind of fun to watch. While A was kind of that same thing, but it progressively becomes like, what role do you really kind of serve here? And then B is just kind of fun, silly, kind of niche little stuff. C and D are just forgettable. Like they're not bad. D is pretty bad, but like they're not terrible, but they're just kind of forgettable and don't really serve a bigger purpose other than whatever, you know? I think the only exception to that is ghosts, but like they don't really do anything outside of like reminding you like, hey, we're the past residents of this world or whatever. But like overall, I'm pretty happy with this list. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this list, because I made it public. I'll put the link in the description when I put up this video. But overall, I would say for season 1, this was a good batch of monsters. Yeah, I would say they're very creative, very threatening in their own ways. Just a really good batch. I really liked this. I really liked this season. I can't wait to see what we get for season 2. Because I assume we're obviously going to get more monsters, right? So like, I hope we get something cool. I hope we get something very interesting. But we'll see. Because I don't know what happens in season 2 outside of like they confront Thistle. Because we saw that teaser, right? So like outside of that, I have no idea what's coming, like legitimately. So I'm hoping something cool pops up again. But yeah, let me guys know what you think. And we will talk about Dungeon Meshi real soon. I have another idea popping in my head. But until then, I'll see you guys later. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.